So how are you enjoying your trip this time to Japan?
I love it. I love being here. I love the culture. I love Japan a lot more, even with the shows than I did last time, because now the kind of music I play is really getting popular. So, playing shows here is really getting similar to what I'm used to in America. So it's a lot of fun being here.
Did you, choose songs with the Japanese crowd in mind? Specifically, did you choose any songs?
Well, I looked at what is selling well in Japan. That's what I always do when I travel to different countries. Cultures are different and music is different. So I always inform myself which songs are out. Sometimes songs are not even released in a certain country. So I did that research, but I always do. And, the first show I played, I just kind of, you play and you feel it out and you learn from it. And then for the second show, kind of what's working, what is not working, you're trying to make it fit.
So what were some of the result of this research from Japan? The songs that you've chosen for Spring Groove, how have they been reflected?
Well, what has reflected, first of all, for me, the most important thing is that people now know my songs. I remember playing here last time and no one has probably heard my songs before, so that was only very, very few people knew it. Now songs like Spectrum or Clarity, people know them and sing along, which is great for me. It's the best feeling. And I realized that a lot of the things that have been just blowing up in America recently have not really, got here yet. And my job as a DJ is as well to really pick up those new trends and play them very early. And everything that is just about to blow up in America is not quite here yet. So you kind of have to go step back, and at the same time you want to be the first one to present this new music to Japan. So it's a mix of, doing your research and playing what people will know and playing new things that people, can't know because some of it is not even released yet.
Well, we now have this label called EDM, but what is your idea of EDM?
Well, to me, EDM is any type of music that you can dance to. Mostly should be electronic. That's what it means, electronic dance music. And I think the genre is not really important. It could be house, it could be minimal, it could be hardcore, it could be, electro, it could be whatever. So for me, personally as a producer, I try to widen this label EDM. I want it to be way more than it is now.
Since when did people start calling this music that had always been around as EDM?
I really think the term EDM really, got in the game when electronic dance music blew up in America, which was probably about 2 or 3 years ago when it started really going crazy. Before that, there was no need to have a term for it because, well, there's people going to those shows, there's people listening to that kind of music, but now national TV stations report about it. So, naturally, it's easier to say EDM than electronic dance music, and I think the reason there is a label that is so precise about it is because it's easier in media to, be able to talk about a specific thing if you have a term for it.
Tell us about your musical influences, musical root.
Well, my roots were, I started with classical music and playing piano, so that was the first part. When I was a little older, I started playing drums when I was 12 in a metal band, and to this time I listened to bands like Deep Purple, Genesis, King Crimson, Yes, things like that that my parents used to listen to. And then I started listening to more modern rock bands like Muse, Feeder, Silverchair, Radiohead. And then later on in my life I discovered, EDM or electronic dance music for me. And that started with Daft Punk, and Justice Cross was that album that really made me start producing that kind of music.
Who do you look up to as an artist? Is there anybody?
Well, I mostly look up to, there's obviously a lot of artists I love. I mostly look up to Skrillex because to me he is not only an artist that makes incredible music and forward-thinking and different and new, but he's also an inspiration as a person. and just the way he sees music, the way he sees the world and everything, you know, it was very inspirational for me to spend a lot of time with him and, you know, get to know his thoughts on everything. So, you know, he's a very great inspiration and role model for me.
Like you said, you grew up with so many different kinds of music all your life, but at which point did you decide that you would like to be an artist yourself?
Well, I think I decided that before I was able to really think. I grew up making music, and so for me it was very natural. Both of my parents made music, so for me it was not a question, what will I do in life? You know, I knew I was going to make music. The only question was, you know, what kind of music? Because I was in a band, and for the longest time I thought being part of a band is, you know, my future. I never planned on being a DJ in my life, you know, it just happened that the music I loved to make at that point was electronic music, and the way to perform life as an electronic music artist is to DJ. So that's when I started learning to DJ. Before that, I had no experience with that.
From your long years of being a DJ or artist yourself, what are some of the moments that you really felt something that had moved you, some of the most memorable?
Well, I mean, what moved me a lot was when I played in Australia for the very first time, you know. Australia is very far away, and I've never been there. I never checked their charts. I didn't know what they listened to. And I played my first show, and I opened with my song Spectrum, and you know, a few seconds in, the whole crowd was singing along, and it was a big festival, so people that went to that festival were not there for me. You know, they were there to see that kind of music and hear those kind of DJs, but not specifically to see me. And you know, I had goosebumps on stage, you know, hearing everyone sing along to a song in a continent I've never been before.